welcome to Math Archives. In this video, let me discuss an example in n jobs and 2 machines under sequencing problems. Let me take this example. We have 5 jobs, each of which must go through the 2 machine M1 and M2 in the order M1, M2, which means every job has to process M1 first and then it has to move on to M2. The processing times in hours. The processing time here is given in terms of hours are given in the following table. Determine a sequence for that 5 jobs that will minimize the total elapsed time. Here the elapsed time in the sense that it is a time interval between the starting the first job to finishing the last job, including the idle time if any. That is a minimal time interval of completing the first job to last job, including the idle time is nothing but a elapsed time. Here idle time in the sense that it is a time for which the machine doesn't have any job to process. Doesn't have any job to process, that is nothing but idle time of the machine. So now we have to calculate the total elapsed time. For that here job and 2 machines M1 and M2, the processing time of 2 machines M1 and M2 are given. There are 5 jobs here and the processing times on M1 and M2 are given in terms of hours here. For example, first job, it taking us 5 hours on processing time on M1 and 2 hours of processing time on M2. Second job needs 1 hour processing time on M1 and 6 hours of processing time on M2. And third job needs 9 hours of processing time of M1 and 7 hours on processing time of M2. And fourth job needs 3 hours of processing time on M1 and 8 hours of processing time on M2. And fifth job needs 10 hours on M1 and 4 hours on M2. So now based on this we have to find out the total elapsed time, that is the minimum time we have to complete all the jobs. So for that we have to follow certain procedure, that is of Johnson's method we have to follow. Why we have to prefer the Johnson's method is, if there are n jobs and m machines, then totally there are n factorial per m possible ways of sequencing is available. That is, to do this jobs we have n factorial power m possible ways. For this problem we have 5 jobs and 2 machines. So totally we have 5 factorial power 2. 5 factorial is 120 power 2, that is 14,400 ways are sequencing is possible. So among these we have to choose the one with the minimum elapsed time is highly difficult. That is, the complete enumeration of the data is not possible. So what we are going to do here is, we have to prefer the Johnson's method to find the optimal sequence. Actually the main objective of Johnson's method is, it has to minimize the idle time of the both machines M1 and M2. Also, we have to follow the order M1, M2 here, which means, suppose if we given here an input, it has to process on machine M1 and move on to M2 and it complete its processing time on M2, then only we get the output. So it has to process on the 2 machines M1 and M2 to get the output. So for a given input, it has to process on the 2 machines M1 and M2, and here the processing times in terms of M1 and M2 are given here for each of the job. So it has to process on 2 machines. It doesn't skip any of the machine. So it has to process on 2 machines in the order. First it has to enter into machine M1 and has to complete its processing time on M1, and then it move on to M2, has to complete its processing time on M2, and then only we get the output. So we have to follow here the order M1, M2. And also here in the sequence is represented as a row with cells. If there is here 5 jobs are available, so we have 5 cells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells. How we are going to place the jobs is, here we have to find out now, using Johnson's method, we have to find the minimum processing time. So among these values, we have to first find out the minimum processing time. Here the minimum processing time is 1 hour. This corresponds to job 2 on machine M1. If this minimum processing time falls on M1, you place the job first in the sequence. You place the job first in the sequence. Suppose if this value, so let me take the next minimum value, so leave this. The next minimum value is 2. This corresponds to job 1 on machine. This corresponds to job 1 on machine M2. If so, you have to place this job last in the sequence. I have to place the job 1 last in the sequence. So if the value falls on first machine, you have to place it first in the sequence. If it falls on machine M2, you have to place this in the last in the sequence. Because we have to follow the order M1, M2. That is the only reason. So if it falls on machine M1, place it first in the sequence. If this value falls on the second machine M2, so you have to place it in the last of the sequence. And we have to proceed further to find the optimal sequence. Okay, now with this short introduction, let me now proceed on to finding the optimal sequence for this problem. First, we have to find out the minimum processing time among these values. And the minimum processing time is 1 hour. This corresponds to job 2 on machine M1. So, we have to place the job first in this sequence. So, processing time 1 hour correspond to job 2 on machine M1. So, we have to place 2, that is job 2, first in the sequence. After this, you delete this job, which means we have to avoid this for our further consideration. Next, find out the minimum processing time among these. So, 2 is the minimum processing time. So, this corresponds to job 1 on machine M2. If this corresponds to job 1 on machine M2, you have to place job 1 last in the sequence. Then you will delete this job. Next, find the minimum processing time. Here 3 hours is the minimum processing time. This corresponds to job 4 on machine M1. So, if it is on machine M1, then definitely you have to process the job 4 next to first in the sequence. Then you delete this job. Next, find out the next processing time, that is the minimum processing time here. So 4 hours is the next minimum processing time. So this falls on to job 5 on machine M2. So you have to place this job 5 next to last in the sequence. And you delete this. So we have only one option, that is job 3. So directly we have to write down the job 3 in the third cell. So this is the optimal sequence. That is the order we have to process the jobs is 2, 4, 3, 5, 1. That is we have to first process the second job and then fourth job, and then third job, and then fifth job, and first job. So if we follow this order, definitely the total elapsed time will be minimum. So next we have to calculate the total elapsed time corresponding to optimal sequence that we have find out just now using the individual processing times given in the problem. For that, let me construct a table like this. So we have to follow the order 2, 4, 3, 5, 1. So this is what the order we have to find out just now, 2, 4, 3, 5, 1. So follow this order 2, 4, 3, 5, 1 and calculate the idle time of machine M2 and also the total elapsed time. Now let me start with the second job. The in time of both the machines M1 and M2. That is, we have to start the machines at the time 0. So initial starting time of both of the machine is 0 time. So after starting both of the machine, immediately machine M1 has job 2 to process. So job 2 enter into machine M1 on 0 time and it needs a processing time. Job 2 needs 1 hour of processing time on M1. So 0 plus 1, that is equal to 0 plus 1, that's equal to 1. So the time out of job 2 is the in time of job 4. The time out of job 2 is the in time because job 4 has to wait till job 2 has to complete its processing time on M1. So time out of job 2 is the in time of job 4. So the in time of job 4 is 1 hour and it needs the processing time on M1 as 3 hours. So 1 plus 3, that is equal to 4. So the time out of job 4 on machine M1 is 4 hours. And this time out of job 4 is the in time of job 3. Because job 3 has to wait till job 4 has to complete its processing time on M1. So the time out of job 4 is the in time of job 3. So 4 hours. At 4 hours it enter into machine M1 and it needs 9 hours of processing time. So 4 plus 9 which equals 13. So the time out of job 3 is 13 hours and that is the in time of fifth job. It requires a processing time 10 hours. So in time of job 5 is 13 hours and it requires 10 hours of processing time. So 13 plus 10, 23. Next, time out of job 5 is the in time of job 1. So 23 is the in time of job 1 and for job 1 it needs 5 hours of processing time. So 23 plus 5, 28. So we have completed the processing time on machine M1 for all the 5 jobs. So next what we are going to do is we have to complete this machine M2 processing times. Now the in time of job 2 is, so after completing the processing time on M1 then only job 2 enter into machine M2. So both of the machines start at 0 hour. But at 0 hour M1 has the job to process but M2 doesn't have any job to process because after completing the processing time on M1 then only M2 has a job to process. So it has to wait for 1 hour to get a job. So after 1 hour, so job 2 enter into machine M2. So the in time of job 2 here is 1 hour. Then it needs the processing time on M2 is job 2. It requires 6 hours of processing time. So 1 plus 6, that is equal to 7. Then next, look at here. Job 4 has completed its processing time on M1 at 4 hours, but it couldn't directly enter into machine M2 because at 4 hours it has to process a job. Jobs 2, the processing time of job 2 is not complete at 4 hours. So after completing its processing time on M1, it come out on machine M1 and has to wait till machine M2 is free. So it has to wait for 3 hours. So at 7 hours only the machine become free. So 7 hours it enter into machine M2. And it needs a processing time. Job 4 needs a processing time on M2 as 8 hours. So 7 plus 8 is 15 hours. Next, job 3 has to complete its processing time at 13 hours on M1, but it couldn't directly enter into machine M2. So you know already each machine can process only one job at a time. So at 13 hours it has to process some other job, that is a previous job. So it has to complete at 15 hours only, so it has to wait. So at 15 hours, job 3 enters into machine M1 and it needs a processing time. Job 3 needs 7 hours of processing time of N2, that is 15 plus 7, that is 22 hours. So in 22 hours, it has to complete its processing time on M3. At 22 hours, it has completed its processing time for job 3. Then, look at this. So it couldn't start at 22 hours. Machine M2 couldn't start at 22 hours because it doesn't have any job to process. Because at 23 hours only the job 5 has to complete its processing time on M1. So at 22 hours, even though it has completed its processing time at 22 hours, it doesn't have any job to process. So it has to wait 1 more hour to get a job. So at 23 hours only, it has a job. That is, job 5 enters into machine M2. And job 5 needs 4 hours of processing time on M2. So 23 plus 4, that is 27. Now machine M2 has to complete its processing time on job 5 in 27 hours. But in 27 hours, it couldn't have any job. Because at 28 hours only, job 1 is timeout from machine M1. So at 27 hours, it doesn't have any job to process. So it has to wait for 1 hour to get a job. So at 28 hours, that is the in time of job 1, and it requires a processing time on M2 as 2 hours. So 28 plus 2, 30 hours. Now we have completed the processing times on M1 and M2 for all the jobs. Here, look at here, the processing time, the last processing time is 30 hours. So this is nothing but our total elapsed time. That is the time for, initially we have to start at 0 time and completed all the jobs at 30 hours. So this is our total elapsed time. So the total elapsed time is 30 hours. Next we calculate the ideal time for M2. That is the time for which the machine doesn't have any job to process. So the ideal time in the sense that the time for which the machine doesn't have any job to process. For machine M2, first I have to calculate the in time of second job is 1 hour here, isn't it? The in time of second job is 1 hour. So up to 1 hour it doesn't have any job to process, even though this machine also started 0 time. So the ideal time for machine M2 is 1 hour initially. Then it has to complete its processing time on job 2 at 7 hours. Immediately it has the next job to process. So 7 hours it has fourth job to process and complete its processing time at 15 hours. Immediately at 15 hours it has the next job to process and completes its processing time at 22 hours. But at 22 hours it doesn't have any job to process, so it has to wait 1 hour. So there is a gap here. So 0, here there is no ideal time for this job too. So 22 to 23 it has to wait for 1 hour. Next 27, 28 it has to complete its processing time on 27 hours but doesn't have any job to process, so it has to wait for 1 hour. So here itself the ideal time is 1 hour. So initially it has to wait for 1 hour, so that is the ideal time. So 7 hours it has to complete, immediately it has the next job at 7, so there is no ideal time. 15 hours, after completing the fourth job at 15 hours, immediately it has a next job to process, so it doesn't have any ideal time, but it has completed 22 hours, but at 22 hours it doesn't have any job to process, so it has to wait for 1 hour to get a next job. At 27 hours it has completed its processing time on job 5, so but it doesn't have any job at 27 hours, so it has to wait for 1 hour to get the next job. So the total ideal time for machine M2 is 1, 2, 3. So 3 hours. So the ideal time for machine M2 is 3 hours. Next we would like to know what is the ideal time for machine M1. It starts at initial time 0. So after completing processing time on job 2, so completing this job, immediately get the next job. Next, after processing this job at 4 hours, immediately it get the next job. Next, after completing the processing time at 13 hours, definitely it has the next job to process. And after completing the processing time at 23, it has the next job to process. So look at here, it has to complete all the job at 28 hours, but at 28 hours it couldn't stop because it has to wait for machine M2 to complete all the jobs. So the total elapsed, but machine M2 completes processing time on all the jobs at 30 hours. So at 2 hours it has, even though machine M1 has to complete its processing time on all jobs at 28 hours, it has to wait for machine M2 to complete its all job. So it has to wait for machine M2, that is 30 minus 28, that is 2 hours it has to wait for machine M2 to complete. So the ideal time for machine M1 is 2 hours. So the total ideal time for both of the machine is, ideal time for machine M1 is 3 hours and ideal time for machine M2 is 2 hours. Adding these two values, 3 plus 2, 5 hours. This is the total ideal time for both of the machines M1 and M2. So we have calculated the total elapsed time, that is 30 hours. That is the minimum time to process all the jobs on two machines is 30 hours, and idle time of M2 is 3 hours, and idle time for machine M1 is 2 hours, and the total idle time for both of the machines is 5 hours. Hope you got a clear idea about how to calculate the total elapsed time for the given n jobs and 2 machines problems. Thanks for watching. See you again in my next video.